Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. This Tuesday edition of Focal Point AFR Talk will focus in our second hour on the State of the Union speech. Number to call if you want to join our conversation is 888-589-8840. This next topic might generate some phone calls. I want to talk about Beyonce, Katy Perry, and Satanism for a few moments. Now, if you believe the scriptures, if you believe Jesus Christ, then we believe that people's bodies can be indwelt by evil spirits. One of the things that Jesus did is he went about setting people free from demonic oppression. The Apostle Peter did the same thing. The Apostle Paul did the same thing. He set people free in the name of the power of Jesus Christ from indwelling demonic spirits. These demonic spirits had gotten into the bodies of these people, wreaking havoc on their souls, wreaking havoc on their spirits, wreaking havoc on their bodies, in some cases producing disease, but not always. And in the power of Christ, in the name of Christ, these people were set free from this demonic invasion. Now, it's interesting. I saw a video this morning kind of exploring the performance of Beyonce at last year's halftime of the Super Bowl. And it's very clear that she was using a number of satanic symbols. I mean, pentagrams, the goat's head. Remember that satanic statue that's been proposed for the Capitol in Oklahoma? It's a giant's goat's head, a Baphomet. That's how Satan manifests himself, as this goat with these very long horns, has a pentagram above it. And Beyonce had a ring with Baphomet on it. She had pentagrams as a part of her routine, the formation of pentagrams and the part of her routine. And at one point, even her facial features change at halftime. She lays down in this circle, and when she gets up, it's like the expression on her face changes, and she had this look on her face. She went from being sort of the girl next door and light and bubbly to something dark and malevolent. In fact, the images were so disturbing that her handlers actually contacted people and threatened to sue them if they posted those pictures on their websites and on the internet. It was that disturbing, and the change was that dramatic. Now, Beyonce talked about what happens to her in performance. And she has this spirit called Sasha. It's a demonic spirit. It has a name. She even refers to it as Sasha Fierce, because there's a fierceness, there's an anger, there's a dark energy about this demonic spirit called Sasha. And she says, what Beyonce says is, I depend on that spirit to give me energy in my performance. When I'm in rehearsal, there are just some things I can't do. I'm kind of restrained in some ways. I'm a more restrained person. But when Sasha comes in, when Sasha takes over, when Sasha Fierce begins to animate me, then I get fierce. The volume I'm able to project with my voice increases. The energy in my dancing performance accelerates. And here's how she described it. Let's listen.
You're doing really well now, but didn't you release a CD like almost 10 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I released a gospel record when I was 15 because I grew up in...
Okay, that was the Katy Perry clip. I'm sorry. We need the... we'll get to that in a second. We need to get the Beyonce
audio
clip, the audio clip.
I'm really kind of shy, and not really shy, but more reserved, and nothing like Sasha. But I guess I wouldn't be very entertaining on the stage. So Sasha comes out, and she's fearless. You know, she can do things that I cannot do when I'm in rehearsal. I mean, I can try, but then it just doesn't happen. I can sing notes and sing strong and do all these things that when I'm just by myself, I can't do. And I remember right before I performed, I raised my hands up, and it was kind of the first time I felt something else come into me,
So she felt that spirit come into her and quicken her, and that's how she was able to perform. She's got a name for it. It's clearly a demonic spirit. Used demonic symbols, satanic symbols in their performance. Now, we started playing this Katy Perry clip, and this is a video clip. She's being interviewed, and she describes the fact she grew up in a Christian home. Remember, talking about the Grammys, Beyonce was the first performer. It was a raunch fest with her husband, Jay-Z. Some Christian entertainers actually walked out of the performance. They were so disturbed by how sexually tinged that performance was. And A.J. McCarron, who was the quarterback for Alabama, took them to the national championship a year ago. He tweeted out that this was demonic. This was a satanic thing going on at the Grammys, and he was exactly right. And he was widely lampooned for it, criticized for it. He doubled down and said no. And he said, I just wonder what Katy Perry's preacher father is thinking about her these days. Had to be grief-stricken to see what his daughter has been reduced to. And Katy Perry grew up in a Christian home. She grew up singing gospel. And in this interview, she indicates that she actually started out to launch a gospel singing career, and it didn't take off. And listen to what she says at the very end of this little soundbite.
You're doing really well now, but didn't you release a CD like almost 10 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I released a gospel record when I was 15 because I grew up in, a household where all I ever did was listen to gospel music, and my parents are both traveling ministers, and so I kind of sang about, what was going on in my life at 15, and that's how I got introduced to the music industry. 'Cause I swear I wanted to be like the Amy Grant of music,
Yeah.
but it didn't work out, and so I sold my soul to the devil.
Now, I don't know if she means that or not. If by selling her soul to the devil, she just means she gave up on the gospel thing, the whole Christian thing, and went over to the dark side, or if she literally means in some way she made a pact with the devil. There are some famous stories down through music history of artists that have done exactly that thing. They've made a deal with the devil who promises them success and money and fame. As long as in exchange he gets their soul for eternity, he's happy to make that sort of trade. Now, I want to finish with, and then we'll take a couple of phone calls if we can before the end of the hour, a story out of Indiana talking about the reality of demonic spirits. And remember, if demonic spirits didn't exist and if they didn't indwell people, Jesus would have told us. Remember, Jesus, some people say, well, Jesus was just accommodating himself to the superstition of the day. But remember what Jesus said, if it were not so, I would have told you. So somebody challenges me on believing in demonic spirits. I say, well, your argument's not with me, it's with Jesus. He believed in Satan. He believed in demonic spirits. You got a problem with that, you need to take it up with him. I'm just believing what he taught. And here is an article from The Blaze. A terrified mother claims she watched in horror. This is in Indiana now, as her demon-possessed 9-year-old son walked backwards up a wall and ceiling. Backwards up a wall and across the ceiling. And then he did some kind of a front flip and landed right in front of her on the floor. Claims that would be easy to dismiss if a child services caseworker and nurse weren't reportedly there to witness it all. So in other words, there's this house. It was a rental house, and that's one of the problems with rental property. You have no idea what's been honored there, what has been done there. She moved into this house. It wasn't long before all 3 of her children showed signs of demonic oppression, evil smiles, strangely deep voices. She saw her 12-year-old daughter one time levitating above her bed like that scene right out of The Exorcist. This is in Gary, Indiana. And all of this stuff is in official documents. The police captain, Charles Austin of Gary, Indiana, said that he is a believer, quote, believer, end quote, after making several visits to the home and interviewing witnesses. Now, he thought the family was making stories up as part of some kind of get-rich-quick scheme. When you hear about that, and you think, man, they're just fabricating this. This is an imagination run wild. But the police chief says, no, that's how I started out. But what I saw with my own eyes and my interviews with people who saw it with their own eyes convinced me that this is actually happening. Officers with the police department say they were too scared to stay at the house, and some city officials wouldn't even set foot on the property. There was something about the house itself, something about the property that was so spiritually compromised, people sensed it when they approached the house. The 32-year-old mother says the spirits that haunted her family's house were only vanquished after she moved away and underwent several exorcisms. I would call those deliverance sessions where you have people praying with her, praying for her, praying over her in the name of Jesus, and she finally was able to work free, but they had to move out of that house. Remember, if it's a rental property, you don't own it. You don't have ultimate spiritual authority over that property. Whoever owns it does, and if the owner of that rental property has given permission in one way or another, whether knowingly or unknowingly, if the owner of that property has given permission to demonic spirits to come into that place, then they get to stay. They've got the legal right to be there because they've been invited by the one who owns the property, and so she really had no choice but to move out of that place. Let's see, get to the most dramatic part of this. Now, so you got these problems. The eyes of the children bulge. They have evil smiles. They speak with these deep and strange voices. She had her youngest child would sit in a closet and talk with an invisible friend that nobody could see. One of the problems, by the way, with parents, their kids will tell them there's a monster under the bed, and the parents don't believe them. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there may actually be a demonic spirit under your child's bed. There may be a demonic spirit in your child's closet, and you can make them go away in the name of Jesus. If you're a believer in Jesus Christ, you have authority over those demonic spirits, and you can make them leave. I'll tell you a family story about that sometime. Anyway, in 2012, Child Protective Services were contacted to investigate her for possible child abuse or mental illness. So you got somebody talking about your child levitating. You have these kids with evil smiles and bulging eyes and deep voices. You think maybe somebody is being abused here, so they checked into it. Psychiatrists examined her and said, no, she's not mentally ill. A family case manager reportedly interviewed the family and witnessed a number of strange occurrences. Her name is Valerie Washington, and this is all in the court record. She witnessed the youngest boy growling before his eyes rolled back in his head. She also, this is a caseworker, saw the 9-year-old boy flash a weird grin and then walk backward up a wall to the ceiling. Her account was corroborated by a nurse. By the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every fact is confirmed, and she discovered there's power in the name of Jesus over all of this work of the evil one. Focal Point AFR Talk, back after the news.